Yo, what up, Adam? Okay, here's your first deadlift like critique video cue form, whatever you want to call it, thing. If I had more time right now, I would download a video editor and kind of like draw some things on the video to show you. But right now, I'm just going to use this. I'm just going to kind of demonstrate. I'm going to use this table rather than a bar, only because it just took me a while to just set up a full bar in my place. I'd have to move a bunch of shit. But all right, let's pretend this is the deadlift bar. One of the things that you are doing is you are not building tension between you and the bar before you pull. There's slack both in your arms and in your body, and you're using the beginning of the pull to jerk against that and pull the slack out. The problem of that is twofold. Like, one, just very immediately, like if you do that, you will eventually tear your bicep. That's like, bicep tears are really, really common for people that don't pull the slack out of the bar and pull with bent arms. So what it looks like for you is, I'm going to over exaggerate this, but what you're basically doing is you're coming up to the bar, you're doing this, and then you're going like you're letting the bar straighten out your arms. Is not what you want. So if you were like a super advanced lifter, like, you know, if you're pulling 700 and you can get that deadlift tightness and tension like within a millisecond, like you might do that. You might go from relaxed and then pull immediately, but I don't think you're there, and I also don't think, like, never ever pull with slightly bent arms. So what I want you to do is a couple things. Like, all of the cues for what I'm going to give you, almost all of the cues for what I'm going to give you are going to be about deadlift setup, because that's going to drive your pull. So one of the things, first thing I want you to do is like just get used to building tension between you and the bar before you pull. So you don't need necessarily to like, you don't need to be, you know, let's say you have 400 pounds on the bar. You don't need to be applying 399 before you pull, but like between you and that bar, like you should have, it should be like you are exerting some force, and that should like start with your arms, but like, you know, that tension should be in your arms. But you're also going to want to keep the rest of your body tense. Now, I'm just going to throw all the like cues at you. And then if you have any questions, just let me know and I will explain more. But like the main areas that you really want to worry about when you're pulling, and like to start, like pulling and squatting is all about tightness, and that tightness is going to get you small, keep the bar close to your body, have a much shorter, much cleaner bar path. So first things that I want you to think of, like number one, if you are having back issues, you do a good job getting your back into extension. But what I am having trouble seeing if you're bracing with your abs. So what that looks like is, imagine you blow your core is the base of your pyramid. The stronger that is, the more weight you can move. So what I want you to do is blow up, like get as fat as you possibly can. So like belly breathe as much as you possibly can, and then lock down your abs. Like you really like want to flex your abs. It's counterintuitive. If I had like a spinal cord, I could show you. It's counterintuitive because our brains think like, all right, well, if I need to exert force in this direction, like bring the bar up in this direction, then why would I flex my abs, which brings it down in this direction? Like, that doesn't make much sense. I can explain more later, but just trust me on this. That is going to absolutely protect that spine. Like, strong abs protect the spine. Honestly, like doing sets of heavy abs between my deadlift pulls has been responsible for I would say the majority of my back pain going away. So that's thing one. Thing two, arguably the hardest, is you really want to like set your upper back with your lats. So a lot of people can't flex their lats, or they don't think they can. Just imagine you had a piece of paper between your armpit, like that right there is flexing that lat. You flex those lats, and what it's going to do is it's gonna keep your upper back strong, and it's gonna keep that bar closer to your body, because what's going to happen, if you notice you have a tendency to have your hips shift up first, and then the bar will drift, that's a longer bar path, and it puts your body in less of an advantageous and a more dangerous position. Those lats are going to keep that bar back. And then the last thing I will say is for back pain too, is we'll go over this later, but we need to see if you're firing your glutes well. My guess is you aren't. I can't really see both from that angle, and typically it's like a lot of times, typically glutes, like you gotta kind of palpate them. Like, it sounds weird. I would have to touch your glute to know if you're actually firing it. Firing your glutes and squeezing your ass throughout is going to be big in protecting your spine. So that leads me, those are all the things that like I want you to think about when you are setting up. So like getting tension in the bar, like your body should feel tense. Big bracing, so big belly breath and locking down those abs, flexing your lats, and then squeezing your ass. It's a lot of things to remember at once. If you can just practice, like you need to be bracing, like your next lift, you need to be bracing with your abs. But like do that and like practice with your lats, practice with them, and then like practice with your glutes. Like it's gonna be hard to all do at once, but those are really, really important things. The next thing is if you look at your video, your ass comes up immediately. So like you pull, and a lot of it's due to tension in the bar, or not lack of tension. So like if you start to exert force this way and you have slack in the bar, like once your body hits that resistance, your ass still is going to go up because it's like, well, I haven't hit any resistance here, so, or it looks more like this for you. You're like, well, I haven't hit any resistance here, so bam. But you can notice that you end up like this. It's not the end of the world. People that like, look at the best deadlifts in the world, that typically happens, but it's indicative of several different things that could be a problem. Least likely of which is that you have weak quads. You're probably more quad dominant. So in order to fix that, I would recommend working your hamstrings. It's like everything in the deadlift is the posterior chain. Hamstrings, glutes, lower back. We could talk different ways to work out those. This will be the end of my first video. If you have any questions, let me know because I'll go over some things. This past year has been a big push for me, learning how to use my abs, learning how to use my glutes. So if you are unsure that you're doing those correctly, let me know and we can talk about it.